my mind, it's one of the greatest wildlife success stories of all times, and no one had told it, and it needed to be done.
We were driving along by ourselves, and we saw some burrowing owls, and we were joking about the burrowing owls and how they might talk or what the burrowing owls might say. And Ron, said, I've had this idea of doing this story about the last black-footed ferret, And we bantered that idea back and forth. And I said, well, let's do it. Broken Circle is such a dramatic story, in terms of the real events that occurred and the decisions that had to be made. And so it was a great vehicle for telling this story. And the fact that, we went from that species really being on the verge of extinction. In fact, many biologists at the time, and I'd say most, thought that they were already gone.
They were right at the edge. They were about ready to go over the cliff. And because of some very courageous decisions that were made by the Wyoming Game and Fish Department, they took a chance. They gathered those ferrets up, put them in captivity, and learned how to captively breed them and raise the kits. And so now we've taken them from right the edge of the cliff into an area of possibility where they can be in more places across the country, more people can learn about them, and more people potentially could actually see a black-footed ferret if they're extremely lucky. When we talk about the black-footed ferret story, I think it's a real concrete example of federal agencies, Fish and Wildlife Service, Bureau of Land Management, state agencies, Game and Fish Department in Wyoming, and the State Land Board, private conservation organizations like National Wildlife Federation coming together and saying, we want this to work.
The Broken Circle is an example of a project that involved a lot of collaborations from numerous government organizations, and was clearly a success because of the involvement of private land ownership.
The big challenge in the black-footed ferret recovery is getting people to understand and appreciate prairie dogs so that we can have bigger colonies and restore ferrets to those bigger colonies.
I think this story is just another great way to pique the interest of children and bring them in so that they may then go on their own to learn more about it and perhaps become wildlife biologists themselves.
We need them as future leaders. We need scientists. We need their critical thinking skills. We need them to become engaged and passionate about the resource. And I think the Broken Circle is a great foundation. It's something that we can start with them at a very, very young age and perpetuate as they go through the learning continuum.
We can tell all those stories in a brain snack or in a workbook, and that's where I think this marriage is going to be so wonderful. It's in telling all those stories.